Hey Marcus, welcome to the MasterCard Cup. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through, put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's first of all just take a look at your posture. Your spine's nice and straight and on a good tilt. Your legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. You do hold your arms a little bit far out in front of you, and the golf club works out to the ball. So ideally what we would do here is try and get your arms to hang down a little bit more naturally, get the hands a little closer to your thighs, then let the club work out to the ball. That might position you obviously a little bit closer to your golf ball. You could also possibly stand up just a little bit taller in your legs. Right now your legs look maybe a little bit bent. So we just really want to be in an unlocked position, not a bent position, because when we bend them, it causes to sit, and you look like you are sort of sitting back on your heels a little. So a little refinement from yellow into red, where we're in this little bit of a sitting, bending position and pronating and holding our arms too far out in front of us, okay? Would be a nice little revision there to start the swing with respect to our posture. As it pertains to our alignment, let's take a look at your feet, carry that out towards the intended target. Now theoretically your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet. Parallel lines at address would appear to converge. We can see that with that philosophy we're pretty much set up right down the center of the fairway, so everything's really good there. At this point in time, let's do a little split screen comparison between you and Jordan Spieth. Got some color coded lines on the screen just to use as a visual reference. As it pertains to swing plane. One thing I also want to point out before I move on here is I want to just comment on your grip. Now obviously usually with the grip we would look at you from face-on view with the camera. We would get a close-up to your hands, and then we would discuss the proper positioning. I can't see your left hand, so I don't know what it's doing, but I do see your right hand, and I can tell your right hand is too strong. Now too strong doesn't mean the pressure you're applying to the club, it's referring to the positioning. And strong refers to what's going to happen to the club face. So a strong grip produces closed club faces, weak grips produce open club faces. Your right hand right now is rotated too far to the right, too far underneath the golf club. Club's not sitting in the fingers, we don't have a trigger finger, and this is going to cause your club face to close throughout the entirety of the swing, and we'll be able to observe this as we go ahead and actually take a look at the swing. So with Jordan Spieth, he creates his backswing by creating good shoulder rotation, drawing the arms and hands back as well as the club. Want to see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. Through the early stages of the golf swing, we also want to create some good wrist hinge into play. And that means we want to transition the club head from being below and in front of our hands to getting the club now above and behind our hands. Very important move in the golf swing. And also in order to create proper hinge, you generally need to have a good grip. If our grip is too strong, it will limit the amount of wrist hinge we're able to create, or the actual type of wrist hinge we're creating. From here, Jordan works the golf club now from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When he finally sets the club at the top, we either want to have the left arm of the club situated on the yellow line, anywhere between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue, as we can see with Jordan Spieth. We also want to have full shoulder rotation. We want to do this about a very stable right leg, and all the while maintaining our posture and the spinal axis we created at address. Let's watch you initiate your takeaway here. So we can see you draw your hands back really nicely, turning your shoulders. You do have a tendency of sort of trying to draw the club a little too straight back, almost like you're trying to bring this back on a straight line. Do not be afraid to let your hands, arms, and golf club move a little bit inside and around your body, okay? As we continue to come back here, at this point in time, we can see that your club face remains very, very closed. Well, let's refer back to the grip. It's your grip that's causing this closed club face. Now, what we got to see here is we got to see the club head get above and behind your hands. Not sure if you're going to be able to do it with the strong grip. So you're getting a little bit of hinge there. That's good. So that's not too bad there. The club head's moved above and behind, but this club face is very, very closed. There's the leading edge of your club. It's basically facing down into the ground. The leading edge of the club should probably be looking more like it's about here. So that's a considerable change, and that's all a byproduct of your grip. Okay? So I'm a little concerned where your club face is going to be at impact with a strong grip, closed face, hooding the face, de-lofting the club. Going to be tough to get launch angle. So we'll see here what happens at impact in a few seconds. Let's work this to the top. Obviously, by taking the club a little too straight back and up, looks like you're working yourself into a bit of a vertical position unless you shallow things out. So right here we keep working into the top of your backswing, and we do see that you keep your hands and arms a little bit too far out in front of you. You get a little steep. You do end up crouching into your right side a little as well. You don't want to do that. If anything, your right leg should straighten a hair because the right hip is clearing. So, and we got a lot of unnecessary activity with the left leg. Really all that should happen is the lower left side, the left knee and the left instep should just respond and give way to the fact that we've rotated. Okay? You're actually physically moving it. Your left heel's coming off the ground, your knee's moving forward and in a lot. So there's a lot of unnecessary motion there that doesn't need to happen. Okay? From here, we're at the top of the swing. I mean, we got decent turn. We're maintaining the posture. The arms are still in good triangular position relative to your core, although set a little too upright. Left arm is starting to fold a little bit, so a little bit of congestion and breakdown in the arms. Club is obviously a bit across the line, pointed out to the right, not within the blue-yellow V zone. Okay? From here, as we create our transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left, fire our knees and our hips laterally to the target, unwind our core and fire our hands. And in doing so, we want to bring the golf club from wherever we set it within the blue-yellow V zone, hopefully, that we bring the golf club back down onto red. And that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. We can see that the golf club has returned back to being on plane. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. Refer to this as the backwards check mark. This simply means that the club head right now is remaining above and behind our hands coming into the hitting zone. This is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in our golf swing, aside from the fact that he's also going to hit the ball straight because the club has returned back to plane, as we already noted. This is a main criteria in producing straight golf shots. Let's watch your transition back into the ball. As you come into the ball, your hands come over the top, down blue. It's going to have a major influence on the golf club coming into the ball steep and over the top, and from out to in. So as we keep coming into the golf shot here, what I can do now is let's just go ahead and mark your club head. We can clearly see that the club head is not returning back to plane. And as we go to the next frame here, this club is going to now fall further out in front of you. Actually, it's still hanging on. This is a good job right here. You're really fighting to keep the club head above and behind your hands. So that's nice, but you're still going to lose the battle. That club's going to keep coming into the ball steep and from over the top. Let's go to the next frame. So there it is right there. And really, if we just track the club head, we can see your club actually tracked pretty much into the ball from the blue line. Okay, so really, really steep. Club never returned back to plane, as we see with Jordan Spieth here. And the golf club does not come into the golf ball from on plane from this red line, which I already stated is the reason why we hit straight golf shots in accordance to our alignment. Lastly, assuming obviously that the club face squares up via having a good grip. Okay? So at this point in time, seeing that the downswing planes are vastly different, we can go ahead and take a look at the actual physical path of the club. Let me see if I can bring you down one more frame without striking the ball. So I can. Let's get Jordan close to the ball. So what I want you to notice here is that Jordan's club is slightly inside the ball, expands out to make contact, and moves through on a nice natural subtle arc. So like I said, he's going to hit the ball straight in accordance to his alignment, as long as the club face squares up via having a good grip. Your club is a little bit too much behind or outside the ball. Watch where it goes on the next frame, straight across. See it? So that's where your club is moving. So if you happen to square the club face up to this swing path, you're obviously going to hit the ball in this direction. You're going to pull the ball over here. If you happen to release the club relative to the same path, well, not only do you pull the ball, but now we're going to hit some form of a pull, draw, or pull hook. If we leave the club face a little bit open to the path, this is where things will turn out. We can hit either what I refer to as a little bit of sort of just a pull straight shot, or potentially just a little bit of probably a pull fade because the face obviously was open and we're imparting a little bit of left to right spin. If we keep the club face too open, incredibly, we can block the ball even further right, even though we're swinging left. At that point in time, we have to realize how open the club face was and just how much spin we're imparting, and therefore we're going to hit some block slices. So the end result of the golf shot is dictated based on the timing of the club face. Because the club is approaching the ball from the outside, striking the ball and moving to the inside, if we square the face up, it follows red. Over release the club follows the smaller red arrows. Leave it wide open, follows blue. Time it perfectly, we'll follow yellow, and everything will turn out. I just want to look at your footwork right now. Your right heel's barely off the ground coming into the golf shot here. We can see Jordan's right heel's more off the ground. Let's see what you do, if anything, with your footwork. Yeah, so you fall back on your right side. So let's pay attention to Jordan Spieth here. When we swing through, we just need to create proper footwork. The right heel comes off the ground. That right heel continues to come up off the ground so we can get up on the toe of our right foot. That allows us to count the spikes in the shoe. This will get your weight to your left side and will allow your hips to square around, shoulders to fully rotate, hands be high with the club back and behind them. You're doing a great job with your upper body here, but there's a lot of resistance. And by you keeping your right foot on the ground like this, your lower back's taking a brunt of this pressure. You might find during a round of golf or at the end of the round or the next day, your lower back might be hurting a little bit. And it's just because you're not creating proper footwork through to the finish to allow you more efficiency through the golf swing, easier to do, and obviously aesthetically looking better. So it's a pretty simple move, right? We're at the top of the backswing, energy stored in the right side, drive through, let the right heel get off the ground at point of impact, and get up on the toe of your right foot, displace the weight on the left side. It's pretty easy stuff there. So definitely want to, that would be my number one thing for you to incorporate in your golf swing. Just learn how to create proper footwork just so that the aesthetic appeal of the golf swing is going to look better, right? Because golf swing looks good. I mean, your hands come back, they fire through. Your coil looks good. You coil on the way back and you uncoil through. Your upper body wants to get to a finish, but we really can't because you're falling back because we're not creating the proper footwork. So create the proper footwork that'll get you to a nice balanced finish, and you can watch the ball fly from that balanced finish without falling backwards anymore. Okay? And important to create the proper footwork and knee work and just getting to a good finish. At that point in time, your posture looks great. We talked about maybe just trying to get your hands sliding a little closer to you, maybe standing a little bit taller in the legs. Subtle adjustment there. From here, let your hands, arms, and golf clubs swing more inside and around. Okay? Golf swing is a circle. We don't want to be taking this straight back and up, okay? So as soon as you allow that to come back a little bit more inside and around, hopefully we get the arms shallowed out a little bit at the top of the backswing. That will automatically improve your downswing. How much? 10%, 90%? We're not sure. But at that point in time, now we can go ahead and pay attention to your downswing and obviously hopefully prevent what we're seeing here, which is this over-the-top move that we have to eliminate, okay? As I said, 3 things in order to be consistent. Got to aim well, have a good downswing plane and a good club face position. This downswing plane that's coming over the top, attacking the ball from out to in. Now it's relying upon what does the club face do. Like I said, over release the club, it's going left. Under release, it's going right. Time it properly, you will find your intended target. So in this particular swing, let's get you back to impact here. And let's check out where your club was. So first of all, your club's way off the ground, so we got to get the club a little closer to the ground. So you're going to hit that ball low on the face towards the leading edge. You're not going to get any launch angle, so the ball's going to lead very, very low. So it looks like club face stayed open through impact. The ball is heading to the right even though you're swinging left. We can see here, but it looks like that club face was shutting down because it looks like that club face, looks like that ball is working from right to left. So we're coming from out to in. Looks like club face is shutting down. We're hitting it low off the club, so a low launch trajectory. We are imparting some right to left spin, so the ball did start. Where were we aimed? Let's go back to your dress position for a second. So the aim was good. So ball's just starting a little bit right there, face shutting down, and that ball should work back to the left according to sort of what I'm seeing here, I think. Okay? Anyways, at any point in time you want to work on these aspects of your golf game, certainly feel free to reach out. Be happy to get you structured on a little program here. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments at all, you guys are looking for a unique gift to provide your guests, feel free to touch base. Be happy to discuss my swing analysis services. Anyways, hope you had a fabulous day and hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.